Welcome to A Gallon of Questions. I am Pat Gallen. Today, we've got a twofer. Our first guest is former Eagles wide receiver Jason Avant. He's one of our teammates here at CBS Philadelphia as he helps us co-host Sports Zone during the football season. So he knows this Eagles team obviously inside and out, played for them, and now covers them. The second part of today's episode is with Braden Mann, the Eagles punter, and his wife Kylie, joining me from Tokyo, Japan on their vacation, and there's a reason for that. Kylie just had a video go viral of her helping Braden on vacation to get his holds down. So when he's got a hold for Jake Elliott, he's practicing that all the time, and he practices that even on vacation, brings a ball with him, and has his wife help him. So it's a pretty funny video that went viral. We get the story behind that. Also, we talk about the parade. But first with Jason, so many storylines with this Eagles team here in the offseason, and we discuss a bunch of them, including the new quarterback coach, Scott Loeffler, who he knows very well from his time at Michigan. Jason is a Michigan alum. We also talk about free agency. Guys, of course, like Zack Baun. Should he come back? What would that look like? How about also the big topic, the big name in the offseason, the possibility of adding a future Hall of Famer in Myles Garrett? Jason talks about that as well. So Jason Avant first, then Braden and Kylie Mann. So let's start with former Eagles wide receiver Jason Avant. You crossed paths with him at Michigan, so he played there from 93 to 96. He was an assistant from 96 to 99, was back there as the quarterback's coach 2002 to 2007. You know him. So what are the Eagles getting with him?
Well, Scotty is a guy that is personable, and for the quarterback position, you have to have tact, and you have to be able to deliver a message in a certain way. You have a lot of fiery head coaches, and usually a fiery head coach is not the best quarterback coach. So Scott has learned over the years how to disseminate and give out information in the most palatable way for quarterbacks. He's developed a bunch of really, really good quarterbacks over the years, and he's given people the flux. I'm talking about some big programs that even at Bowling Green, where, he's basically a feeder program at Bowling Green, especially with the NIL, they can't keep guys like they would when they had Ben Roethlisberger and then Mac, that type of thing. It's not that type of program anymore. The Mac schools are not those types of programs anymore because, everybody can get that big dollar amount with the big schools. But when you see the way that he game plans, he had Michigan's national championship team on the ropes for a good 3 quarters, not being able to figure out Harold Fannin Jr., not being able to figure out the run and the pass, just a very diverse play caller and, quarterback coach. So it's not just that he's a quarterback's coach. He's done that really well, but he's an offensive mind that knows the game. I'm talking about RPO game. He knows it. Pro style offense. He knows it. He's had to transform into a bunch of different things over the years because of the type of quarterbacks he's had. He's had running quarterbacks at Virginia Tech. He has running quarterbacks at Florida. He's had pocket quarterbacks at the University of Michigan. Like, there's a bunch of different people and a bunch of different systems he's had to run over the years. So it's just a great offensive mind. And there's a lot of quarterbacks, even today, talking about Tom Brady, Drew Stanton, Michigan State's quarterback. They depend on Scott Loeffler for a lot of their evaluations for other people. And so Scott is a very well-connected guy and has a lot of information on quarterbacks.
All sounds really good to me. I don't know much about, the inner workings of how this might work, but how much say or how much input would Jalen Hurts have with something like this, with a hiring like this?
Well, I'm sure that after Jalen has solidified himself as, one of the elite and premier quarterbacks in the National Football League with the Super Bowl win and the way that he's able to play in pressure situations. So I'm sure that Jalen Hurts had something to do with it, even if it was just them calling to just verify, have a conversation before the hiring was final. So I'm sure that Scott Loeffler and Jalen Hurts have had conversations, and I don't know a person that doesn't that doesn't like Scott Leffler when it comes to what he does really well. And the thing that he does really well is coach quarterbacks. And he's developed some guys that probably shouldn't have played elite college football into some darn good football players that were able to make a living for their families. And I'm sure that relationship will be just fine because he's a player's coach for sure, but he has a lot of wisdom when it comes to offensive game planning and play calling.
For those that might not know, obviously he was at Michigan. He was also Temple's offensive coordinator and QB coach in 2011, and was most recently, as Jason just said, the Bowling Green head coach from 2019 to 2024. So he will be in that position. Kevin Patullo moves up to the offensive coordinator spot. What did you think of that hiring?
Well, to keep it in house, so Jalen, that he didn't have to deal with as many moving parts, and it's good to have someone there that has been in the meetings, understand how Jalen sees the game, understand how the coaches and what successful plays that the Eagles have had this past year. So when you have someone that can just kind of tweak it a little bit to make it their own, but not coming up with different concepts and new schemes completely, I think that's advantageous to Jalen. So I like the in-house hiring. Now I like, and also surrounding him with someone like Scott Leffler and others. So I think that the Eagles are making home run decisions with a lot of the things that they're being dealt. When you have success, you lose guys, you lose Nussmeier, you lose Kellen Moore. That's going to happen. If the Eagles do well this upcoming year, it's going to happen again. So Howie has done a good job of retooling and coaching guys up, and I'm glad we had Patullo in the wing there.
Howie Roseman's got some decisions to make outside of the coaching positions. Some big decisions with the roster that will need to be fleshed out here in the coming days and coming weeks. Zack Baun, Milton Williams, just to name a few of them. Mekhi Becton is a free agent.
Yeah.
Of that group, who do you think is the most important to bring back next year? Because in a perfect world, you bring them all back, you run it back, but we know with the salary cap limitations, that's just not possible.
Yeah, Milton Williams, Becton, Josh Sweat, Baun. There's a lot of guys there, right? So I think the most important piece is Zack Baun. Though the others are important, I think that you can find a defensive tackle because of how deep this draft class is when it comes to the defensive line position, especially interior defensive linemen. This class is really, really strong. At 32, there's a guy there, Kenneth Grant, University of Michigan, or Pierce from Tennessee on the edge. Like, there's a bunch of guys that we can kind of, I won't say that they're plug and play, but they're definitely a step in the right direction there. But trying to get an inside linebacker for this team, I just don't think that we value that higher in the draft. So why go through all of that work when you got a guy right in your, on your roster that you can sign now? So I think that's the biggest key for us this offseason is re-signing Zack Baun. When it comes to Mekhi Becton, I love Mekhi Becton's play this year. Him with this offensive line will probably be really great. But just think about the reality of it. The reality of it is that we have Tyler Steen. We drafted Trevor Keegan. So we have guys in the wheelhouse there that may have needed that bridge year that Mekhi Becton was able to provide. So those guys may be ready to go. So if there's any position we need now, it would be Zack Baun. Everyone else, it would be nice to have them, but do we absolutely need them? And can we afford them? It's two totally different things.
Right. Yeah. You think Milton Williams, he's going to get a pretty heavy bag. Josh Sweat can get paid too, but I'm in agreement. Zack Baun, I think, is definitely number one because defensive player of the year candidates at linebacker don't grow on trees, especially here in Philly. So that's a big one. I got one more question for you. Myles Garrett. Yes or no?
If everything was great, but just think about this, we would have $300 million contracts. Like, how long can that last? Like, when I say three, you got Jalen Hurts, you have Myles Garrett with that contract, and then Jalen Carter will be coming up in a year or so. And Jalen Carter's a $100 million player. So you can't have all of these guys. So I don't necessarily know how we will work this out. And if he does work it out, it only will be for a short time because you can't keep all three of those guys. So I don't know how that would work out. I'm definitely not that math guy that he has with him on that side of the salary cap. If we can make it work, make it work. But again, I think that in a perfect world, it would be awesome to have him because him and Jalen Carter would be a nightmare for, like, I just don't understand what any team would be able to do. Like, I really would, because you have that guy that's crashing the edge every single time, and then Nolan Smith doesn't even have to. He at that point he wouldn't even have to bull rush anybody anymore. He could just run around the edge because they're gonna be running from Myles Garrett, right? So like there are so many things there. So I wish it happens, but this is one of those things that may be a little bit too good to be true.
Welcome back to A Gallon of Questions. You know, a good kick is nothing without a good snap and then, of course, a good hold. The man responsible for the holds for the Philadelphia Eagles is punter Braden Mann. So if Jake Elliott's got to have a clean kick, he needs that clean snap and that clean hold, and Braden has been so good not only as the Eagles punter but as the Eagles holder. Why is he so good? He gets a little bit of help no matter where he is in the world. Could be on vacation. He's got his wife, Kylie, as the secret helper, the secret sauce. And a video just went viral with he and his wife on vacation. It was on her TikTok. It's been viewed like 200,000 times of Kylie over and over and over again, snapping the ball to Braden so that he can practice his holds on vacation. Hey, it's why the Eagles are Super Bowl champions, because the fun never stops. The work never rests. And they talked about that and why that's gone viral. And the game where it really paid off for Braden. That and more with Braden Mann and his wife Kylie here on A Gallon of Questions. Tell me, where are you guys right now?
We are in Tokyo, Japan right now. We got here last night. So, a bit of an adventure so far. Got off 14-hour flight.
Part of the fun of the offseason post-Super Bowl. So take me back, Braden. Super Bowl and that whole week leading up to the parade and then the craziness of that parade. Like, what was that whole week like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a brand new experience for me. I know we had a few guys on the team for the last one, and they were just kind of trying to show me the ropes a little bit about what it was going to be like, but nothing could really do it justice until we were there. It was the whole week was awesome leading up to it. The actual parade was insane. It was so cool. Philly really showed up, and Kylie was there with us, so it was like so cool to be on that bus and just see all of Philly showing out.
Yeah, Kylie, I was going to ask, what was it like for you to see all that go down?
Oh my gosh, it was an adventure. The week leading up to the Super Bowl is really crazy with all of the planning and everything. And then the parade was just a blast. I mean, it was people as far as you could see.
Kylie, did you think Philly had that sort of passion in them? Because you get to see it on a weekly basis, but maybe not to that degree.
Right. I mean, you get a sneak peek at the link for all of the home games. So that was awesome when we got here, just seeing the camaraderie there.
Braden, I saw you in the locker room after you guys won the Super Bowl, and you told me that it was better than you could have even imagined. I don't even know if you remember that. Do you stand by that?
Yeah, definitely. I stand by it still. It was the feeling was crazy. It was just like, you couldn't really take it in until days afterwards. So I think once we got back on the flight to go back home, it really set in that, like, we just won the Super Bowl last night. It was just like nothing can really prepare you for all the celebrating and all the just like good times you'll have, like just putting in all the work throughout the season, and then kind of finally paying off at the end of the year.
Well, this question is for both of you, since you were both on the buses on the parade route. What was the craziest thing you think you saw?
What did you see?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the craziest thing I saw was just like, even when you were going down the street and you would see a little gap in the side streets, it would just be filled with people, dozens and dozens deep. So that was the craziest thing for me, probably.
Yeah, I think that and those dozens of people deep were all throwing beers and everything near us, and we were just kind of dodging and ducking for a little bit. It was fun though. It was really cool. I think we 20 minutes in, we caught our first beer from the crowd, and so they kind of set the tone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, a little breakfast beer. Of course, that's what you do when you celebrate with a parade. Now, speaking of beers, there's a video floating around of you holding a beer for Jake Elliott. So I guess Rick Lovato snaps it. You hold, Jake kicks. Now, I'm just saying, I think I saw you botch that hold, Braden. Am I right about that? Do you have to? Are you upset about that? Do you want that one back?
I do want that one back badly. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever prepared for slippery beer holds before, so I think that was we did it a couple more times after. I think we nailed it, but yeah, the video is a bad look of me dropping that one for sure. Jake still nailed it though.
So Kylie, let me ask you before we get more into your travels here, from the significant other perspective, what is this? What are the nerves like throughout the entire season, and then like it ratchets up during the playoffs? Is that accurate?
Yeah, and during the playoffs, there is always a little bit of nerves, but things are moving so quickly that you don't really have that much time to think about it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, but there's just so much going on, and the games mean so much, and they mean so much to this city too. So I know there are a lot of people out there who are thankful for you guys and what you're able to accomplish this year. So I want to talk to you about, you're in Tokyo now, but you were just on vacation elsewhere, and we saw a video that's making the rounds now from Kylie's TikTok of you practicing your holds. Is that normal for you when you guys go places? Are you doing this like all the time?
Yeah, whenever I go on vacation, I always feel like, sometimes I can't work out as much or I can't kick as much, so I always do bring a ball with me on like every bag, like I pack, I have one ball in there and a ball pump so I can pump back up when I get up there. But yeah, I bring that ball with me everywhere. And then if she's with me, sometimes she'll help me. Usually I'm like, on my own, kind of doing my own football stuff. She'll go like work out in the hotel gym or whatever, and then I'll bring a ball with me and just kind of do my stuff in there. But yeah, I guess the full backstory on that video, if you want the full backstory was, so that was actually that was last year. That was not this year. So I think that it was supposed to be kind of a joke post by Kylie. The whole joke was that she, the snaps, as her arm got more tired, the snaps got worse and worse. That was kind of the whole, it was kind of just a funny thing. And then people kind of took it and ran with it, which was really funny. But yeah, that was actually last year. We were on vacation in South Africa. So we were we were doing like game drives and all that, but they have like a little gym there. So she had just finished her workout, and I was like, hey, could you throw me a few snaps? And I usually video it just to see what the holds look like. And then she was like, hey, we still have this video. Like, I'm going to post it of my snaps getting worse and worse.
Well, how many snaps total was it? Do you remember the number?
Oh, I don't know. There was a few of those videos, though. They were probably, I don't know. She probably snapped me 100 balls that day. It was, I usually snap myself, 100 to 200, and she probably snapped me 100.
Kylie, were you exhausted after that? That's no joke.
Yeah, the arm gets tired eventually. And the first half of the TikTok, I clipped a bunch because, like you said, the whole thing was supposed to be a joke of, my arm getting really tired near the end. But, he was right, there's probably 100 snaps, so.
That's pretty funny. So could we say then that we maybe owe part of the Super Bowl championship to Kylie practicing with you on the road last year? Since this happened a year ago, she got you prepared for what was a Super Bowl winning season.
You can say that, yeah. She definitely prepared me for the I think the snow game. I think like any holding in snow, maybe that's a little bit of credit there. So we're definitely going to keep doing it.
That's interesting. The snow game, like how nerve-wracking is that for you to be in a situation like that? I know you go through the process and you practice and nothing changes, but when the snow's coming down like that, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different because you can't like recreate snow or you can't prepare for snow unless it's snowing outside. Like you just can't. If it doesn't snow during the week and it's going to snow on game day, there's no way you can prepare for it. You just kind of have to, go out there and do it. Rain game, at least you can pour a little water on the ball, like kind of replicate a little bit of rain. But snow is a little bit different. Thankfully, though, like all the snaps and everything went really well. Like Rick is always good, in the worst conditions, Rick has been so good with me. So, yeah, he made it a lot easier that day. But it was just a blast that game was.
Kylie, how many other times have you helped him with your snaps?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so funny because I remember doing this back in college during the COVID times and even before the COVID times. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, I think the first time she started helping me was I was getting ready for the draft and for the combine, and I was holding at the combine, and so I needed to be ready for it. So we got one of the jug machines at the facility, and she shot me definitely over 100 jugs that day, like just of holds and then catching punt snaps and all that stuff. And one of them snapped it when I was not looking, and it hit me right in the head. So we got that figured out eventually down the line.
Wait, is there video of that? Do you have that anywhere on your phone?
I don't think I took it. I know. I wish I would have taken a video of that one, because I've told that story so many times of, like, when I say go and then she snapped it, I was like, not yet, though. And it hit me right in the head.
It's like, but you had said go.
Yeah.
Well, that to me says that's love right there, right? Like, if you're going to help him snap it basically anywhere, that it's meant to be.
That's right. That's right. She definitely didn't sign up for this earlier on when going on vacation and snapping me footballs. But, you know, it's you get a little downtime on vacation, you know. By day, like, 9 or 10, you start to get a little more downtime. That's usually when the football comes out of my luggage.
Are you going to do it in Tokyo? Do you have a ball with you?
I do have a ball with me. Yeah, it's back there in my suitcase right now. I don't know when or where yet, but I always bring it just in case. So we'll see if I get around to it.